Bear in mind that this Spitfire review is based off of one gameplay session which you are able to watch here to make up your own mind. First off, the graphics. They're simple. Not super high definition or AAA quality, but not simple colors either. Personally, graphics are not as important to me as gameplay, but perhaps for some of you, the graphics may be a turnoff. They don't appear to have normal or height maps, which I think could do quite a lot to bring out those textures and step it up a notch. That's all I have to really say about that. The first thing you notice when you start up the game is that rather than setting your movement options via a settings or menu screen, there's actually a settings room dedicated to those things, accessible via the hub, which you load into at the start of the game. This is not necessarily a new concept, as you can see that sort of thing in VR games, such as Gorn. This can serve as a way to quickly test your options without having to navigate in and out of menu screens, but after playing the game, should you decide that you don't like the options that you set, you'll be forced to go back to the settings room because there's no settings menu. As far as the UI is concerned, it can be really hit or miss. While I like the concept of looking at your inventory via your backpack, which you can take off and put back on, minor quality of life adjustments would help immensely. Things such as auto-orienting the backpack so that the inventory is always aligned with the player, for example. I also noticed that I could only seem to put my bag on my back with my right hand. I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong or not, but it didn't seem very intuitive for me to have put my sword on my waist every time I wanted to open my inventory, or close it when I could just as easily use my other hand. Apart from that, some elements of the inventory menu are unclear. The character section of the inventory screen, for example. Should that be reflecting real time, which weapons are attached to your belt, or is it used as some kind of secondary storage for weapons? Either way, this could use some explanation. I did not get too far into the game, as you can see in my video playthrough, so perhaps the further along in the dungeon you get, the more dynamic the enemies become, but from my limited experience with the combat system, it could use some refining. I like that the damage is based off of how much power is in the swing. This prevents people from simply noodling their arms wildly and getting kills. There also appears to be some variant damage based on where you hit the enemy, which is kinda cool. However, the combat can feel less than satisfying. For one, when an enemy sees you, you are placed into sort of a combat mode, which severely hampers your movement. I understand that this is a design choice, but I personally don't enjoy having my movement hampered while the enemy can simply jump in and out of reach. Hit detection could also use some refining. There were many instances where I appeared to hit the enemy with force that resulted in low damage, and likewise resulted in higher damage when I didn't even mean to hit them at all. That being said, with some refining and an adjustment of the combat mode, I think the foundations for a satisfying combat system is there. I don't have much to say about this one. You find blueprints for new weapons in the dungeons and come back to craft them. There are some steps you take to craft a weapon that have some limited interactivity, or just enough depending on your point of view. I suggest you watch the gameplay video in this case to judge for yourself. Overall, in its current state, I would rate this game a 5 out of 10. Average. The foundations of a good game are there, but many things could use refining. That's it for this Spitfire review. Check out the gameplay video to see for yourself. If you like this content, subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.